Hello, everybody. It's the Warm. I'm back again with more Raging Loop. We're in the gallery, the album today, starting out. Um, a couple of you have informed me. Last time I was wondering. Remember when we got one of the endings, and we got a hint corner, bad endings, I should say. And the sheep said something like, "Oh yeah, this is the same as ending 13." And I wondered aloud, I don't think I've seen that. What is that one? And then so it was, let's see. Um, yeah, yeah. Both Unknown Pitfall and Lise said basically, oh, this is probably the one you'd get if you revealed you were the snake. And I think that's probably right. I just think it's I I had a thought. I just think it's somewhat strange that the game would kind of spoil another ending. Now let's be fair. These are bad endings, so they're probably not that much. There's probably not too much to them, You make the choice and then within a pretty short amount of time you're going to end up dead. But I still found it somewhat weird that the game would, because there's a potential, as I've just showed, that you get ending 14 before ending 13 just by the choices you make. So I find it strange that the game would not account for that in a way, and spoil. And again, I say spoil, but it's probably not that big a deal. And I kind of know if you sorry, give me 1 moment. I need to address something real quick. 1 moment. Okay, sorry about that. What was I saying? I guess it's probably not that. It's not that big a deal for them to do that since it's another bad end. And I guess on the whole, there's gonna only be one sort of true ending, right? Even though I can see up here, it looks like there's 3 more main endings and then 2. I don't know what those are. I don't know. I didn't like the fact that I didn't like the realization that they were, giving away something I hadn't seen yet. Probably not that big a deal, but it is what it is. And before I move on, I wanted to ask, let's see here. Yeah, I want to ask Lise here. Lise made a comment where I'll just read it. Lee said, "While we're at it, I think it's useful to check all bad endings now, since they're not as boring and short as the one near the market where you drive into the mists." I'm just a bit confused on what you mean there. Do you mean to check the bad endings we've already gone over? I don't think you mean that. I think that's probably not the case. Do you then mean instead to let's go back to where I was. Do you mean to, before moving on, go back to the previous choices? Like here in the Reveal Guardian? I guess I'm not sure what you mean. Is what I'm saying, because we've only had this one other choice so far. Yeah. So if you could just sort of clarify what you mean, I would appreciate it, because I'm not sure I understand. Let's get back to where we were. Yeah, okay. So we have successfully navigated our way through the second feast. And we were able to do it almost perfectly until we got to the vote between Takumi and Mamiya. And that choice just threw me off because all my senses were saying, well, he's a human. It doesn't make sense to vote for him. I wasn't looking at the bigger picture, and I kind of lost sight of the original plan, which we're back to now, which is to sacrifice Tai and then hope the crow can get revenge, essentially. And the vote for Takumi is just to throw off the wolves, really. So we're back on that plan. I missed a step, but overall, kind of satisfied with where we are now. Let's continue on, see what's in store. Really hoping for that crow, man. I want to see the crow in action. Okay, not saying a word, we all returned to the plaza. Everyone seemed to feel like we'd done something that could not be undone. We'd passed a point of no return. No, that probably wasn't right. The point of no return was passed a long time ago. This just made us realize it. And even then, I didn't know if anyone besides Mamiya-san and I felt it. The villagers might have begun feeling like this the very moment the mist came. I thought about that long and hard. It made me feel something like remorse or powerlessness, both of which were unproductive emotions that really dulled your thoughts. The locals, however, seemed to feel differently. They did look like they were in a state of emotional numbness, but it seemed to be the result of something other than shock or a sense of loss. It was something more unnatural. They seemed like empty husks. I had a thought once that the real problem wasn't the monster, but this state of being. We returned to the dining hall.
オリベの
はい、
飯作れ。
承知しました。
皆、食堂におれ。わしは見回ってくる。
おやっさんもいろよ。
ん？
本当は危ないもんなんていねえんだろ。俺ら以外には。
飯時には戻る。
俺も家に戻らせてもらう。
匠。
死なねえよ。何万回歩いたあぜを踏み外して死ぬような真似しねえ。死ぬとしたら、あんたに撃たれた時だ。
With that as his parting shot, Takumi-san left.
他の者はおれよ。
And so, Kanzo-san left too. He had no intention of playing along. He planned to resolve the feast with his own two hands, to the very end. He was even capable of convincing Tai-san to accept death. As long as he was alive, he would continue to command the humans as a strong but harsh leader. However, I felt like I'd seen his tough facade crack. Only a little. Just now. Probably for the first time ever. Though Takumi-san was considered to be a local young leader figure, Kanzo-san seemed to constantly underestimate him, thinking him too soft. The softness in this case was simply common sense and consideration, useful things in any other situation. Looking at it from that angle, that supposed softness now seemed conspicuously absent. Tai-san's death had changed something in Takumi-san, and it wasn't yet clear if it was for the better. Overcome by awkwardness, we barely talked, simply watching time go by. Oopsie daisy. Okay, sorry about that. I had brief chats with Kaori-san and helped her prepare the food. She seemed to be composed and took it very seriously.
肉抜きですかね。
ここには精進の風習はないわ。普通にしましょう。
Every line spoken felt like a secret chat between partners in crime. It felt really weird. I knew full well we'd done something inexcusable. Despite that, I wasn't feeling the normal amount of shock or guilt. Perhaps because the moment Tai Yamawaki-san died was neatly cordoned off from everyday life. The song, the farewell, all of it might have been ways of separating the event from their daily lives. It seemed like know-how they had to slightly lower... It seemed like know-how they had to slightly lower the emotional burden from killing one of them. I think I understand what this sentence is saying, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Yeah, okay. These two statements together, I get what they're saying. It's just... I'm not sure if this is correct, but if it is correct, it's just very strange to read. Did they think it up naturally, or did they remember it?
できたか。
ええ、ただいま。
Soon enough, we gave out the now familiar veggie and shishinare soup, along with some rice. Oddly enough, everyone still had their appetite. However, since Takumi-san hadn't returned, we ended up eating with one person unaccounted for. And not just him, there was one more empty seat that had been occupied this very morning. Ah, shit. What the hell was this?
Hassan-sa!
Hello, Mochi. It felt like it had been so long since someone called out to me. The others likely felt the same, which is probably why it attracted some attention.
何かな？
タイバーがいなくなっちゃったじゃん。
What was he getting at? Was he trying to get me to talk about it?
そうだね。残念な結果だった。
残念？ハッサン的にはタイバーを守ろうと思えば守れたよね。
Ooh, we gotta be very careful what we say here.
もっちやめなって。春明さんからはタイバーちゃんも間宮さんもどっちが怪しいかは判断つかないんだから。
ああ、だから僕は2人のどちらにも票を入れたくなかった。他に選択肢をなくしたのは僕より上流の人たちだろ
う。私たちを除くよ。
だからといって私に入れることはないと思うがね。
いいじゃん。いい票の入れ先として役に立ってるし、みんな今はそこまで疑ってないと思うよ。
自分は違うと言いたげだな。うん。
記者のお姉ちゃんとおっちゃん、あとはハッサンあたりが狼じゃないかな。
Going on the offensive, eh, Mochi? I wasn't the only one who jumped. Everyone looked at Mochi and I.
参ったな。いろいろ下手を打ったのは認めるけど、君にも信用されてないっていうのは。
ごめん。別に僕は信用とかそういうのはどうでもいいの。ただ、狼ってどんな気分かなとか聞きたいな。夜更かしも殺しもやりたい放題。いいな。羨ましいな。
もっち、その辺にしとこう。間宮さんはまだ偽物だと決まったわけじゃないんだから。
But hopefully we will soon. Again, worst case scenario would be if Tai-san was the crow. Yasunaga-kun stopped him because he noticed how strained Mamiya-san's expression was. However, he said that while looking at Kanzo-san, making it very clear who was in charge here.
近持ち、来い。
やだ。
来い。
Mochi tried to ignore him, but the pressure got to him. He slowly got up and walked over to Kanzo-san. Ooh. The old man just slapped the cross-dressing boy. His light body collapsed on the table, and the one to soften his fall was...
大丈夫か
ってじっちゃんの方が大丈夫かい？骨とか。
Those two sure got along well.
乱暴はいかんの今さら何言いやがる猛録じじい。宴のことは宴の外ではせん。皆知っとる。やめ近持ち。
わかったよ。記者のお姉ちゃん、ハッサン、ごめん。
He didn't have any ill intent, did he? He was probably as eccentric as he was because he was exceptionally observant, but had poor social intelligence.
僕は構わないよ。仕方ないし。
But I had no idea how to help out Mamiya-san. She was so tense she could burst at any moment.
間宮様、私は両方をくくらねばならぬということはないように思います。
By the way, just out of nowhere, what is her necklace thing? My mind recognizes it as almost like a horseshoe shape. But that seems a bit odd, and it seems connected up here. And there seems to be something behind it?
植松の手。
恐れ入ります。
Sorry, Kanzo.
一つ重要なことをお聞きしておりませんでした。今だけ宴の話をすることをお許しください。間宮様、今晩は加護によってどなたを遠見されるおつもりですか？
そんなの私の勝手でしょ。
いいえ、加護は我ら人すべてのために親鸞様より賜りし者、我らのためにお使いいただかねば。
あっそう。じゃあ誰を見れば？
織部安永様、いかがお思いですか？
僕ですか？僕としては野里さんに対する疑惑をそろそろ外しておく必要があると思うんですが。
Not the first time a snake has used powers on Masato.
私にとってはありがたいがね。
He had a high chance of being both a candidate for the hanging and the snake's investigation, so Yasunaga-kun probably wanted him to stop being a safe retreat for votes. However, Mamiya-san was a fake. I was tempted to reveal that, but had to restrain myself.
わかった。じゃあ今日は野里さんを調べるから、雲の人には私を守ってもらいたいんですけど。
いえ、それはまずいです。
Ooh. I kind of assumed she was going to say something like that. What's this, Yasunaga?
なんでよ。
この場で決めてしまうと、狼側が別の人を殺すという判断材料にもなってしまいますから。
Very true.
雲の方はすでに一人を救ってます。それだけでも大した成果ですが、次も任せていいんじゃないでしょうか。
Meiko is MVP.
そうかもね。
植松さん、それだけですか？
はい、出過ぎました、牧島様。
俺はまた出てくる。
肝臓じいちゃん、ずっとここにいたら息が詰まっちゃうよ。なんとかなんない？
死ぬよりゃ ましよ。
He had a point. The positions and roles were completely different from last time, but I felt like people would die if we split up.
匠には気をつけ。
He uttered those curt words and walked out.
そうだね。匠兄ちゃん、ばあちゃんがいなくなってだいぶ答えてるみたい。
でけえ図体して軟弱だな。
義継、お前ちょっと来い。
んだよ、兄貴。
母さん、上を使うよ。
待ちなさい。私も行くから。
え？
妻子さん、任せていい？
The Oribe family's gonna have a little meeting.
ええ。
The Oribes went upstairs, leaving the dining hall with just the two students. Kinosuke Shi, the old wolf guy, Chiemi, Rikako-san, Meiko, and Mamiya-san. Myself included, that was 9 people, a few numbers away from the total.
ああ、しんどい。
同感です。
いつまでこんなの続くんだろう。
The mood softened up a bit, and everyone finally began to speak their mind.
ハッサンさ、狼？
No, Mochi. And I'm fairly sure you're a wolf, so cut it out.
違うよ。
じゃあカゴ車？
どうかな。というか、今話すのはダメなんじゃないの？
そんなんお年寄りの言ってることじゃん。実際は丸一日これしててもいいくらいすっごい難題だと思うけどな。
もっち、なんかわかんないの？
彼はそういうの強いの？推理とか。
どうしよう、もっち。話しかけられた。
いい加減慣れなよ。噛みつかないよ。
どんとこい。
大した話じゃないですけど、もっち、勘がよく当たるから。
残念。僕のクレイジー脳みそコンピューターは霧の中じゃろくに働かないみたいだ。
What a shame.
というか、昨日あんなこと言ったのに大したこと言いませんでしたよね。私、あなたのことまだ疑ってますよ。
オーケー。疑われるのは仕方ないけど、せめて砕けた喋り方にしてくれないかな。なんかとても冷たい壁を感じるんだ。
だってあなたナンパ男っぽいもん。
Hey. What? That is terrible slander you have hurled at me, Haru. So that was the reason, huh? This reminded me that when we first met last time, she assumed I was Chiemi's boyfriend. Was it even possible for her to have a better opinion of me? Getting along with her wouldn't hurt.
誤解はいずれ解くとして、本当は僕もいろいろ言いたかったんだよ。
嘘だ。兄ちゃんにばっか喋らせてさ。おじいちゃんが全部ダメにしちゃったけど。
どうでしょうか。あの時織部安永様は春明様をかばうようにされていたように思いますが。
Whoa. She was treading into dangerous territory with that.
そうなんだよね。やっすんはなぜかハッサンをやたらと信用してるよね。なんなんだろう。
It's because they're both playing 4D chess, you know? They're a level above, so they have, you know, they can trust each other like that.
理屈っぽいところは似てると思うよ。
Yeah.
やすくんと春明さん。ここじゃ珍しいタイプだし、話せて嬉しいんじゃない？
See, Chiemi gets it.
春明様、議論が盛り上がる相手の方が話していて嬉しいですか？
会話が弾めば何でも楽しいですけどね。
口下手な女は お嫌いですか？
大丈夫です。引き出しますから。
Careful there, Naruaki.
引き出されてしまう。
No, dang it.
春明さんって絶対女のトラブルで逃げてきたんでしょ。
How do you know that?
ははは、何を証拠にはははは。
You must have mentioned it.
リカ子さん、多分この人すっごく悪い男だから深入りはやばいですよ。
悪い方。
このスーパー悪女ちえみガールにここは任せて早く逃げて。
悪い方に憧れたりはしませんか？
Oh my goodness. This is becoming a dangerous situation, Haruaki.
そうきたか。もっち、あれが大人の女の戦い？
大人の女の戦いと言ったら、やっぱおっぱいビンタ大会じゃないかな。
You are very wise, Mochi.
詳しく聞かせてくれ。
最低。
脱線してないかしら。まあこの状況でちょっとくらい緊張を緩めたい気持ちはわかるけど。
別にまあいいんですけど、何言われても不採しさん怪しいし。
Honestly, being seen that way made things easier for me. Yasunaga-kun was probably relatively certain that I had a guardian. He might have realized that I was planning on revealing it today and presenting them with the info I got. Then I changed my plans after seeing what happened today. That probably made him even more certain about what I was. However, my actions only made sense if you assumed I had a guardian. Otherwise, I was just a scared fool saying whatever I could to survive. That was why Yasunaga-kun took charge of the conversation before I said something important, drawing attention and Kanzo-san's ire to himself. Because of that, Haru-chan and Shemi still thought I was irrelevant, which meant that Yasunaga-kun's plan worked. I could only hope that we didn't have any more mochis around here. I didn't want anyone else putting me under a magnifying glass like he did. Rokako-san was only elevating me because, like she said yesterday, she believed I was brought here to save them. It could have been some other feelings she had for me, but whatever the case, she stood up to any negative remarks about me. In a way, my current situation was well balanced.
じっちゃんはさ、狼とかカゴ車とかじゃないのかい？そっか。
それ意思疎通できてるの？
全然。だからじっちゃんは面白いのだ。
俺も面白い。
今日はなんか結構喋るな、じっちゃん。スケベな話してよ。
スケベスケベ
スケベー。
そういうことじゃないでしょ。っていうかやめてよ下品なのは。そんなこと言って興味あるくせに。知恵姉がアーバンな実録をエッチ話聞かせてあげようか？その
お詳しく。
Elaborate.
釣れた。案の定ドスケベリカ子さんが釣れた。
なんなのです。この牧島春様との扱いの違いは。
いやー、神秘的な美人も生身の女だと知ってちえみさん嬉しいんですよ。ま、そっちじゃ負けませんけどね。
勝負しますか？
She's throwing down the gauntlet.
おお、なんか来た。不潔だわ、大人って。
スケベー。生き地獄だ。
Hi, Misato. Kyo, you're still here, I see.
嫌なら野里屋敷に戻れば？
今外に出られるか？
I wonder if we'll ever get to see the Misato mansion. We've never been in there, I don't think.
おっちゃんに撃たれるから？
ムロにもな。
匠さんがタエさんを失ったショックから暴れると。
当然危惧すべきではないかね。私とて奴とは付き合いが長いが、あれほど思い詰めた顔はそうそう見んよ。マキシマ王も言ったではないかね。匠に気をつけろと。
So that was what he meant, huh? It seemed possible. It was still daytime, but he wasn't here. What was he up to then? And how would this affect the negotiations I was planning? Maybe I was close to my limit.
ちょっとムロさんの様子を見に行ってこようかな。
一人で出るの危ないって。本当に肝臓じいちゃんに撃たれちゃう。
おそらくマキシマ肝臓様が気を使って見に行かれると存じます。
おじいちゃんはそんな気遣いしないよ。
はるちゃんいつもそう言うね。はるちゃんのじっちゃんははるちゃんをすっごく愛してると思うけどな。
どこがよ。宴が始まるまで半年くらいろくに会話もなかったのに。肝臓じいちゃん寡黙だからな。
That intrigued me too, but I had to focus my attention on Takumi-san. However, if I went and did something about that, I'd probably attract the attention of the wolves. This was difficult. What was I supposed to do here?
ところでやっすんたち遅いね。ちょっと盗み聞きしてくる。
ちょっとやめなって。
だってあの3人が狼だったらさ、密談とかしてたらやばいだろう。
Hara-chan was shocked for a moment, but she really didn't have to be.
安永くんは猿なんだからそんなことはないでしょ。
しかり最悪織部安永が偽物であっても、その場合マキシマ王も偽物となる。
そっか。
All three of them simply couldn't have been wolves, so there was no problem with their secret chat. However,
盗み聞きは良くないが密談も良くない。こうして変な憶測も呼ぶし。
だね。もっち、はるちゃん呼んどいで。
一人でよくない？
いいわよ別に。行きましょう。
yeah, this wasn't a role that could be left to a single person. The secret chats would increase the likelihood of conspiracies and hidden pacts, perhaps resulting in lawless murders like last time. However, at the same time, there was the risk that someone, especially the wolves, could find out about such pacts without the parties knowing. The wolves left their houses at night to kill people, meaning they could have all the secret talks they wanted out in the night mist. We humans could only have secret talks during the day, where we risked being heard by other inhabitants and wolves. Overall, the wolves had a way bigger advantage on the intelligence front. By just meeting up at night, they didn't have to have any chats during the day. In fact, they could just focus on listening. They could also agree on what roles they would take, which one would pretend to have a guardian, which one would side with the humans, which one could gather info. By eavesdropping on humans' secret chats, they could gain info without the humans even realizing someone was listening. That was why people couldn't be allowed to go off to listen to these chats on their own. It would imply they had ulterior motives. Chemi had realized that just now, huh? She sure had some tact. Did that mean that she suspected Mochi, though?
匠兄がヘビだって言った時、嫌な感じがしたんだ。今狼様が笑ったなーって。
He certainly had sharp intuition. This reminded me that he'd just asked me a leading question, whether I was a wolf or had a guardian. Did he perhaps realize? Whether he was human or wolf, he might have known that I had a guardian. Had Chiemi stopped him from going off on his own because she saw him as dangerous? Perhaps I had to use my snake powers to investigate. That would be big, yes. I actually wanted Mochi to be on the original list. Shit, this was complicated. I'd do that. I'd choose mochi. Upon returning, the Oribes wore docile expressions. But they didn't have anything to say. They just returned to their seats, and that was that. It seemed they came down at about the same time as the two students went to pick them up. This was the first time I'd seen him so serious. It made him look a lot like his brother. Large eyes, a straight gaze. They probably inherited those features from their late father, a Higuchi. I couldn't help but wonder what they'd talk about. Yasunaga-kun probably wanted to scold Yoshitsugu-kun, while Kaori-san was probably concerned about how they were holding up. I did think it was important to have a strong will in this situation. An outburst of violence would be quickly silenced, and we couldn't afford to lose potential votes to that. The feast was built around the premise of killing people through logical deduction, and letting that foundation crumble was not an option. Otherwise, we'd quickly be overwhelmed by madness and blind, murderous rage. The only ones who'd benefit from that would be the wolves, who had the upper hand in information.
息が詰まりそうだから何かお出ししましょうね。甘いものでも。
Oop, sorry. She presented us with something, and I had no idea what.
何ですかこれ。
Anko? Nope. My bowl had something gray and paste-like in it. It was steaming, too.
あ、タッコだ。懐かしい。
Everyone was overjoyed and began digging into the paste with their chopsticks, so I had no reason not to do it too. It looked like anko and was about as soft. I brought my face closer and it actually had a good smell, like cubic rice crackers. Steam made it obvious, but it was pretty hot. Sweet, too. Above all else, though, it smelled good. It reminded me of barley or rice. Grain, basically. Tea. It just happened to be sweet.
はったい粉だわ。大麦の粉をいってお湯で練ったのね。
Oh, this is your expertise, right, Mamiya?
よそではそう言うんですか。
ええ。まあ、地方によっていろいろ呼び名はあるけどね。戦前までは広く食べられてたし、今でもスーパーで売ってることあるわよ。
ええ。ここは昔から麦を作って粉にして食べてたってたえ。教わったのよ。昔。
No one commented on her correcting herself.
タッコという呼び方は聞いたことがないわね。はったい粉がなまったのかしら。
Even in this situation, Mamiya-san was acting professionally. Though everyone lightened up and made room for some idle talk, no one brought about anything about the feast. No one was in the mood for it either. However, I was sure that just about everyone here had thought the same thing. That Hisako Mamiya was a wolf. She was a bad liar. From what I'd seen during the previous loop, Haru-chan was the same way. However, since she was a bit of an eccentric, no one would notice if she acted a bit unnatural. Mamiya-san, however, was clearly the cool and intelligent type, so the sudden change in her behavior immediately stood out. It didn't seem like it had anything to do with the burden she had as a snake, or of the fear of nightly attacks. If she had nothing to hide, she would calmly defend her actions and do something to help her survive the night. The first impression was a very important thing. She was lying. Everyone thought that, not just me. I wasn't able to get them to accept the badger's existence as fact, so they all should have assumed that she was a wolf. On top of that, I was thinking about what she'd do and what I'd do with her tomorrow. Enjoying the simple sweetness, I continued to think all by myself. Time passed, we weren't too hungry, but we had dinner, rice gruel, at 5 p.m., then split up. Takumi-san had yet to return.
てめえはもう帰れよ。
手伝ってくれるのは助かるけど、一応これ僕の仕事なんだよね。
てめえはもう帰れよ。
う
Crap. The bluff from yesterday was too strong. I had absolutely no intention of laying a hand on a widow with teenage sons, but Yoshitsugu-kun was acting like a real knight protecting a princess.
まあ、この子もこう言ってるから。昨日からよくやってくれているし、今日は早めに休んでちょうだい。
それではお言葉に甘えて。
転んで田んぼに落っこちやがれ。
Well, have a good evening as well.
あんたはまた何を失礼なことを。
それではまた。
ええ、また明日。
じゃあな。
See you, huh? That made it seem like he didn't see me as a complete enemy. I had no idea what he was thinking. What had they talked about back there? I was a bit curious. I'd probably have to ask Yasunaga-kun to find out. As I walked back to my hut through the dark mist, I ran into the students.
あ、ハッサンだ。今日は早いぞ。
早く済ませて帰ろうよ。
すみません。待たせてもらってました。
何の用かな？
I couldn't sense anyone else hiding in the dense mist, but that didn't mean no one was there. Also, the only one out of these three I could trust was Yasunaga-kun. I hoped he wasn't about to reveal something dangerous.
一言、お礼を言いたかったんです。
お礼？
ええ。昨日、義継を止めてくださったんでしょ？さっき本人から聞きました。
はははは、何のことかな、はははは。
まあ、言い方についてはちょっと問題はあったと思いますが。
え、あの言い分まで伝わったの？
はあ。
え、岩に頭ぶつけて死ねばいい？
いや、いいですよ。あいつもそこまで言われて頭が冷えたって言ってましたし。
何言ったのよ、一体。
Haru, it's just... Don't say anything about this to Haru.
スケベの気配がするぞ。
It is. Anyway, if you knew that much, I didn't have to hide it. Mochi held Haru-chan back while Yasunaga-kun and I continued talking.
なんていうか申し訳ない。とっさに彼が逆上しそうなセリフを他に思いつかなかったんだ。
なるほど。
彼は一本気なのはいいけど、その立ち位置を決めかねてるんだろうね。宴の前も後も。
はい。だからちゃんと考えて決めろって言いたかったんですけど、母さんが。
何かおっしゃったのかい？
まあ、縁起でもない、つまらないことを言ったんですけどね。これも義継が頭を冷やす効果はあったかな。
Could you be a bit more specific? Huh. It didn't seem like he'd get any more detailed.
とりあえず、あの時話してたのはそういう内容だと。
そういうことです。疑わないでくださいね。
そうよ。兄ちゃんが悪いことなんてするわけがないじゃない。むしろあなたの方が怪しいんだからね。
まあハッサンから見たら僕もハルちゃんも怪しいと思うよ。
というわけでここまでです。あとすみません、力不足で。
What a grim face. It was the same as the one he made when his efforts to prevent Tai-san and Mamiya-san from being lynch targets turned out to be in vain.
とんでもない。大人なのに無力なのは僕の方だ。
まあ今現在無力でないのはハルちゃんのじっちゃんくらいだろう。仕方ないさ。霧の中じゃ人は無力なんだ。
なんかまともっぽいこと言うね。
やっすんとハルちゃんの前だから自重だ。
That made sense.
じゃあ戻りますけど、房石さんもお気をつけて。
明日死んでたら骨は拾うぞ。
Thanks, Mochi. I appreciate it.
縁起でもない。
Sent them off with a simple goodbye. But one of them refused to leave.
ハルちゃん？
もうやったとは何？
Uh-oh. You heard that too? What? I wondered what she meant by that, but then...
僕がもうやったから。
Did she mean the thing I told Yoshitsugu-kun last night?
はるちゃん、何のこと？
Yasunaga-kun didn't know? Did Yoshitsugu-kun not mention that part?
ああ、もしかして、はるちゃんは昨日近くで話を聞いてたのかな？
That would explain everything. Rikako-san had done exactly that, and it wouldn't have surprised me if Haru-chan had done the same.
昨日は3人でとっとと戻ったよ。その後、一人でなんか聞きに行ったの？
Uh-oh. This is getting stranger. They had no idea what she was talking about. Mochi's words supported my assumption. There was no response. This talk wasn't that big of a deal, but the silence made it feel needlessly tense.
はるちゃん？
Did my voice contain a little too much irritation? I regretted speaking up. But then, all of that was blown away.
そうか。落ちてきたか。己、幾度かやり直しておるな。
Oh. Oh my. Okay. I guess we're doing this. For a moment, it felt like her mouth displayed a frighteningly maniacal grin.
はるちゃん。
The next moment, her expression returned to her usual sullen face.
あれ、どうかした？
戻ります。行こう、二人とも。
うん。
待ってくれ。今のは一体。
ハッサン。
The one who stopped me from going after the other two was Mochi.
これはね、僕らだけの秘密だ。多分、宴とは全然関係ない話だから、気にしないで寝るといい。
You know, I'm not immediately going to dismiss that statement there. We're going to talk about this more next time, but I'm not immediately going to dismiss that because there is something else here, relating to her, relating to Chiemi. Yes, so yeah.
どういうこと？今のはるちゃんの様子が？
そうだ。
昨日もはるちゃんは宴の最中におかしくなったよね。
Yeah, that happened when Rikako-san used the word God.
それ以上は立ち入り禁止。じゃあね、ハッサン。今夜も頑張ってね。
He also left with a bombshell. Do your best tonight could only mean that he knew I had a guardian. Who was I supposed to trust? Or rather, who was sane here?
複雑回帰でございます。
Oh my goodness. Rikako, do not do that.
あなたも大概複雑回帰かと。
Gonna scare us half to death.
ひどい。
That was my line. I almost screamed when she popped out.
なんでいるんですか？
昨日のことがあったので、心配を。物意味が遅れては、ことですから。しかし、牧島春様は、まだ、治っておられなかったのですね。
まだ治ってない？
はい。かつて牧島春様は、ご両親が亡くなられた頃、心をお病みになったことがおありで、狼様に疲れたなどというものも出てまいる始末でした。
Okay, but that's not what she calls it, and that's not what Chiemi calls it.
狼つき。狐に疲れるとかは聞いたことがありますが、とはいえ、なくもなさそうですね。
狼様は人に取り付きません。
そういう感覚なんです。僕にはちょっとよくわかりませんが。
いえ、 どう言いましょう。そうそうあっては困るのです。狼様や他のお守りは神に準ずる存在です。世持つ狼様であってもその格は同様に大きい。偉大なる神を下ろすのは相応の儀礼にのっとるべきで、簡単に勝手に取りつかれるようなものではないと。
That was a decent explanation. I can understand that it would be weird for famous gods to just possess someone.
じゃあそれこそ狐や狸の仕業とか？
神内明神に仕えている私たちは五陸病の類から守られていなければおかしいのです。
でも狼様は人と他の眷属の裏切りで殺されてしまって隙ができてしまってるんじゃ。
それは結局のところわからないのです。
というと？
実のところ狼様が死んでいると伝えているのは安水だけですし、上藤吉の長者家には安水の者の方が読み人に組みしていると、そう伝える話すらございます。
Okay. I have to leave. And it's basically time anyway. That's a very important thing to have... There have been several really... there have been several really important things that got dropped on us here at the end here. Well, redundancy, Office of Redundancy. I gotta go. There's 3 or 4 major things we need to talk about when I come back, so keep this all in mind. Let's hold off. I've been the Worm. This has been Raging Loop. This loop is still raging, that's for sure. Hope to see you next time. Be well.